Ah! All right. Can we do it? Can we do it? Ooh. Did I add an Astrian Conclave Discord link yet? I don't think so. Another one there. Ah, whatever. Let's do that later. You're a graphics designer? Fuck off. You're blocked. Alright. I don't know how much is actually left in hours, but I know because I checked the walkthrough because I wanted to know. There's not much left. There might actually be a hilarious little amount left, but
I'd be glad to.
we'll see. Really all we have left is doing this last, I think. Which involves going to the spire. I don't feel like we're done though, like with people's side quests and stuff. Maybe we are. Like it does. We don't have anything here. Skeleton crew. The Lantern of Gone. Yeah. Really done with all of it. I haven't done that, but I'm not gonna do that. Hmm.
There you are. We're just about ready. You know, when I started working on all this, I didn't really think we'd end up using it for this kind of thing. Guess it should be interesting at least.
Walk me through this plan.
The plan. I will keep it short. Unfortunately for our friends in the Brass Citadel, there's an Adra pillar in the powder house. Used it for illumination, if you can believe it.
Let's snort.
That's a torch to the powder stores, and everyone in there, yourself included, goes up in fire. So, I have a device for you. It will explode after a delay. Time enough for you to get clear of the blast. Plant the explosive too far from the main stores, and they will isolate the blaze and save the tower. Too close, and you will have gone a long way to kill yourself. My suggestion is the vats. You'll know by the smell. In any case, you will have to find your own way out. I won't be there to transport you back to the tower. You'd better be sure that you're ready.
Let's get on with it.
Right, so one more thing. Don't get caught. And if you do get caught, make sure nobody's going to report seeing you. Whatever rests lightest on your conscience, nay? Look for the pillar to the east in the brass citadel. Should be an easy jump after the others. Here we go!
Right. Ooh. Oh. Guy there. Powder mixer. What do you think? Oh.
I should write.
The vats.
Just a few hours between me and a tall mug of ale.
Only 4 more weeks until my transfer.
Tonight, I'll finally beat Pero at Hazatoa. I can feel it.
I wonder how Chico and the kids are. I should write.
Don't bother, because you're gonna die soon. Outer house lower. Okay, no. Right. I feel like I should only go with one character.
Just a few hours between me and a tall mug
Oh no, they reset their dialogues.
I wonder how Chico and the kids are. I should write.
Only 4 more weeks until my transfer.
Tonight, I'll finally beat Pero at Hazatoa. I can feel it.
Everything's in place. Good. Good.
Something I can do?
I wonder how Chico and the kids are. I should write.
Right.
Just a few hours between me and a tall mug of ale.
Uh-oh. Luckily, he's blind.
Only 4 more weeks until my transfer.
I wonder how Chico and the kids are. I should
Tonight,
write.
I'll finally beat Pero at Hazatoa. I can feel it.
Everything's in place. Good. Good.
Oh, what the fuck? Yeah, we're safe scumming this.
Tonight, I'll finally beat Pero at Hazatoa. I can feel it.
Okay, so we need that guy to move away. This is the only way to sneak past, it feels like. There's too much stuff down there.
The kids are. I should write.
All right.
I don't even know if that's where we're going. That looks like a vat. The vat looks deep and wide enough that you could bury the explosive in the gunpowder and no one would notice. You put the device in the vat and activate it before covering it with a few handfuls of gunpowder. It's well hidden, but you can faintly hear it ticking down. Of course. Metal Gear Solid 4
I
game
wonder
design.
how Chico and the kids are. I should write.
I hear you.
Everything in order? Everything in order?
Move, 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 move! Oh, that was fucking close.
Everyone, get out now!
Loaded. Now what?
Happy to oblige.
Hey. At once.
You know what? You might be able to sneak out right in front of their face.
What can I do?
Yeah.
Yes?
Yeah, that makes sense. Total sense. Burned book grows warm in your pack. Oh my god, Woodika, will you shut up? You've never said anything of interest. You told me to not open the book again.
But the goddess does not appear. You stand alone in a void of ashes and drifting embers.
Okay, then don't make me open the book.
What can I do?
You must gather your party.
It's so silly. Please be open, please be open. Now it's never ever open.
A perfectly executed plan. And for your part in it, your just reward.
5,000 copper? That's nothing. So what now?
Even with the Royal Deadfire Company out of the way, I cannot imagine that our pursuit of Ukaizo will go unchallenged. We do have an advantage, something no one else has discovered. A way through the storms. The Animancers have a device for your ship, something much like their equipment at the Spire. The fleet will meet you at the edge of Andra's Mortar and defend you from any threat that may arise. Once you are in position, the Animancers will transport your ship through the Between and to Ukaizo itself. The culmination of all your work.
That sounds terrible. I'm ready.
Galade. Then I will send word to the fleet. They will be waiting at Andra's Mortar. We have a single chance at this, Watcher. If you have any matters to resolve here in the city, I suggest you do so quickly.
Level up! Do I even need more levels? Get here, we get Mind Plague, destroys an enemy's memory, disintegrations, raw damage to a single target. I kind of think I'll take disintegration here. It's just so OP. Minor intercession. That's a heal. What about spiritual ally? Summons an extraplanar ally. So it's that or the big AoE heal. It looks really good in this game though. In one it was really trash. Oh, we got something here. Salvation of Time. Plus 10-second duration of beneficial effects. Nah, I don't like that. But it is, if you buff someone with 2 things or 3 things and then cast it, then I mean it's basically plus 30 seconds duration, but still think it kind of sucks. I don't want the summon. I think we'll just take the heal there. Not much else, regardless. These spells. "100% of incoming graces converted to misses." Alright. I just don't really want any more abilities here. Like, that looks good, but the problem is they just used like a mana system, and the problem with that is that usually there's no real point in taking more abilities, because blind already has bonus 10 accuracy, bonus 25% damage, and here it also makes the enemies. We took this one. I thought I took the raw damage one, but here now, all attacks on the enemy add a stacking penalty to deflection, and that's I mean, all of that is good. So there's very little reason to take another ability like Sap here. Confused and hobbled? Yeah, that's not bad, but it's also not really much better than this. And it doesn't really have that much function above. Enemies that target strikes in confusion can also become confused. It's not bad though, but Same here. It's the same attack. It just applies a kind of crappy weaken. Feebled. Because it doesn't let you do more abilities. It just lets you do different things. Which also makes you weaker. Because you have to take the ability instead of taking passives. Yeah, that one. That one is much better. Hello, Pat. How's it going? What is this? Healing Chain. The Paladin targets a single ally for healing, but the effect continues to jump between allies, healing slightly less with each jump. Alright, sure. Whatever. Let's take that. We also have another, but I don't really want much. Revive with 150 health if you have Zeal. Sure. Really anything else I wanted to pick? Again, I don't really understand the monk. It's a really weird class in this game, I think. Oh, you already get the heal? Okay. And let's get the damage spell. What do we have here? Minoletta's Piercing Sigil. The wizard invokes the sigil of the famed Vailian wizard Minoletta. When he or she is struck in melee, the sigil retaliates with pierce damage, pushing the target back and leaving them stunned. That kind of sucks. Summon weapon. Freezing Rake. To be honest, this is probably really good. Weapon accuracy, damage, and penetration increase with wielder's level. Okay, so we don't know what it does. Thanks. That's cool. At least add that to the tooltips. Come on. Yeah, let's take that and AoE raw damage. But this one only has 7 pen. I think I'm gonna take the raw damage spell. Okay. So what do we need to do? I just need to go and meet them. Huh? what? All we need to do is just leave? And equip the new sails, I guess. Now what? Ukaizo. Just have to go up there. Maya is no longer aboard the ship. She's left you a missive. Who? I have my gripes with the Navy from time to time, but I know we're here to do good work. Wish I could say the same about you. Someday you might learn what it means to be a part of something important. You'll probably get yourself killed, long before that revolution takes hold, but I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You have a knack for survival that I admire. You're more than your busted-up castle and twisted soul. You have the chance to be something incredible. The sooner you realize this, the sooner you can get to work on making Eora a better place with the rest of us. Best of luck, Maya Rua. Below the signature, the parchment is marked with the indentation of a familiar talent. Oh, right, that was the Rawatai woman, Aumaua woman. Yeah. She left us because she was part of the Deadfire company, and we just blew up their headquarters. The wind carries an unusual sound to your ears. A distant roar reaches you from across the water, raising the hair on the back of your neck. Alad gapes. Gods alive, have yourself a look at that. Squinting slightly towards the sky, handsome Ilium smirks. Beardal thrusts a finger into the air. It's a goddamn dragon! A massive winged reptile sweeps over the Defiant, throwing the deck into shadow and setting the sails to billow and snap. Look alive or look dead, lads and lasses, Eldengrim barks. Furl the sails, ready the powder for wetting. The dragon banks in the distance, cutting a line across the horizon, and you can just make out the figure of a rider upon its back. Wait and observe. Your crew scrambles across the deck as the beast approaches slowly. As the beast's approach slows, the dragon stops above the Defiant, the wind from its wings buffeting you as its rider peers down imperiously. He dismounts, slipping from the dragon's back and into thin air. Is it the Vampire Queen?
Watcher of Cadnua, if I might have a moment of your time. I am Lengrath, and unless I'm mistaken, you're the Watcher of Cadnua.
Who are you? A pleasure to meet you.
Likewise. The Circle hears so much about the Watcher of Cadnua. I've long wondered if you live up to the legend.
Flap, 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 flap. Flap in the background.
I seek a truant member of the Circle of Archmagi, Maura. She sent rather cryptic word that she'd found something of cataclysmic potential in the Black Isles. Something that could aid you in the fight against Aothas. You've had few dealings with the Circle of Archmagi in the past. Nonetheless, we know you pursue Aothas, and we might have a way to help.
Why doesn't the Circle of the Archmagi ever solve these world-threatening crises?
Perhaps we solve more than you think. Perhaps we simply don't advertise to the common kith how often Eora comes to the brink of destruction.
Sounds great. When do we start?
As soon as you're able.
Lengrath frowns, her gaze turned to the horizon.
Maura's drive is frightening, foolhardy, and her love of the Deadfire uncompromising. If she's found some method of stopping Aothas, we must make sure she doesn't destroy Eora in an attempt to save her archipelago. I will await you in the Black Isles, a volcanic chain in the southeastern sea, due south of Tikawara. Don't tarry over long, Watcher.
As Langrath steps from the railing, her dragon sweeps beneath her, catching her up. The great reptile's wings dig into the air, and it rapidly recedes toward the horizon, Langrath seated steadily on its back. Smiling silently, handsome Ilium watches the dragon vanish into the distance. Beardor looks to you, ready to chart a course when you are, Captain. Pretty sure that's a DLC, which means I'm not doing it. You're still injured? The fuck? I thought that the injury would only last for a while. Injured for 13 days. Is you only get a 30% bonus heal rate. Sure. Don't work then, you lazy bastard. There is plenty of ocean to sail and many lands to explore, but what lies ahead of you dwarfs them all. Should you choose to sail on, you suspect there will be no return, not to the Deadfire you have come to know. Continue forward. You set a course through the channel and into uncharted turbulent seas. Andra's mortar rages on the horizon, a vast wall of roiling clouds and rain, punctuated by the silver flicker of lightning. The wind pushes against you as if to ward whatever lies beyond from the Defiant's approach. The Defiant leads the fleet, crashing through the turbulent waters like an axe through armor. Gods alive, Beardor mutters, staring up at the storm. Herger blinks at the blackening sky. New and old salt ones who claimed the mortar were the edge of the world. I called him a fool. Now though, the navigator's head shakes sadly. Now I ain't so certain. Head bowed slightly, Eld Engrim smiles. Today is as good a day as any to learn what the gods have in store for us. Shit, Captain, one of the hands cries. Hostile vessels inbound to forward port. With a shake of the head, Beardor emits a grim chuckle. Suppose it'd be too much to ask to be let alone out here. The inverted crown flies atop the masts of the motley Principi fleet, along with a dozen other pennants and colors representing a dozen different pirate lords and ladies. Their shanties are audible even against the storm. The approaching fleet numbers at least as many ships as your own, and maybe more. I have 2 ships. Beardor frowns against the wind. The fleet's turning, Captain, setting their gun ports against the enemy. The hands look to you from their stations. Beardor's eyes hold yours. The crew stands ready. What are the captain's orders? Study the enemy. The patchwork pirate fleet charges aggressively towards you, its ships a ragtag menagerie of flashy galleons and sleek dhows, stolen junks and mercenary sloops. You count 30 vessels, give or take. Let them fight it out. Take us into that storm, Chidupek. The deck presses against your feet as the Defiant comes about, a thunder of cannon fire vying with the thunder continuously rolling from the mortar. Your ship straightens, the bow pointed directly into the storm. You lurch forward as the deck pitches violently. I don't know if I can do this. Like, they didn't give me a quest to go pick anything up, so I don't know if I have whatever we're gonna use to teleport. They said just meet them there, and they're not here, so I don't know. You grab the aft rail to keep from going overboard. Beneath you, just below the surface of the water, swims some immense creature. It moves towards the battle, the water curling back like parted skin. On either side of the beast to reveal a monstrosity not of flesh, but of slick adra and gleaming metal. The surface of the water bulges, then bursts, and with a roar like the crash of the surf, a dragon explodes from the water. The familiar scaled form of Scoirealaphus sweeps low, wings outstretched just above the white-tipped waves, before spraying its briny breath over the metallic monster. Monstrosity turns on the sea dragon, and they slam into one another, tearing at each other with tooth and fang. Essence pours off of the pair as they pound one another with their abilities at point blank. Herger gapes. Sweet merciful Londra, I was not expecting that. Mess that bastard up good, shouts Eled. The hand turns back, pointing. Did you see that? We've got the god's damn dragon. Go, now, while I hold the attention of these beings. Skurelephus' voice echoes among your thoughts. Our debts are cleared, Watcher. Theodil turned from the carnage. Captain, we might not get another chance. All hands look to you. We've come this far. There's no turning back now. Eyes closed and face turned upward, turned toward the black clouds. Eld Engrim whispers, nor has there ever been. The path was set before Widewind marched on Deerwood. Theodil nods. Sometimes the only way back is forward. The mate calls across the deck. All hands to stations. Time to show the gods what the Defiant be made of. Ondra's mortal looms before and above you, dominating the whole of the world. Rain begins to fall. The storms of Ondra's mortar encompass the visible horizon. Hurricane winds roar like an imprisoned beast, blowing with enough force to warp the seas. Past the curtain of rain and above the swell of waves, you can just barely perceive the outline of colossal Audra pillars. You sail in the direction of the closest pillar, fighting the sea to keep a wide berth from the ravaging storm. Waves crash against the glowing surface of the Audra directly ahead. The Animancers are too busy to concern themselves with choppy waters. Shouting orders over the wind, the team coordinates the pulling of levers and spinning of wheels to activate their machine. Many of them plug their ears or mutter prayers to their gods. Others stand enraptured, gazing toward the approaching Audra with an air of accomplishment. Then the final lever is engaged. Nothing happens and your ship remains on a collision course with the pillar. As you scramble to brace for impact, one of the Animancers breaks away to retrieve a copper device that fell to the deck. She snaps it back into its setting on the machine and wipes a spray of water off her brow, grinning and flashing a hopeful signal. The machine spools to life at once and the Audra responds in kind. Reality grows hazy around the point of your prow, forming a rift that swallows the tip of your vessel with no time to spare. The breach expands to accommodate the rest of your ship, allowing you to sail through without resistance. The air thickens on the far side of the rift as you bob along the ethereal tide. The Defiant lists at a disconcerting angle, though your boots never leave the deck. With a gentle splash, the Defiant dips down into tangible waters as you maneuver through the other side of the rift. The turbulent winds and rains are at your back. Ukaizo lies ahead. Ornate spires reach up from the island, hinting at the city within. Not all of Ukaizo has weathered the millennia with equal grace. Other structures jut and lean out of the surrounding shadows, making the waters around the island impassable by ship. You resolve to take a skiff the rest of the way. Now, I think this is gonna be kind of awkward. This rain is super laggy. This pile of debris hums with ancient power. Oh, you guys want to go? Alright. Hello, Ingwith Sentinel.
That was about as useful as a bump on
He's weak to crushing, and I do have crushing. It's so weird to activate her abilities, but there we go. Weak to corrosion, well, let's just do this. That's a big AoE. What are you casting? Oh, okay. Nuh-uh. And 10. And she's not doing full damage. Switch to that. Damage. Oh, come on now. That was my fault.
Nothing I can do.
We do have Disintegrate, and we can toss out tons of Disintegrates.
I'll light the darkness.
I have like infinite Disintegrate. I can keep Disintegrate up permanently. Almost. How long does it last? 21 seconds. And it costs 60. Okay, not permanently, but damn close. I'm gonna flank. Yeah. More damage? Integrate. Now, Disintegrate does go against Fortitude, so he's got 135 Fortitude, and so landing that is not great. He's almost dead.
I'm here.
Oh, there's still more things here. Grand Promenade. There are still more.
To think, this storm has been here since the Ingwithins left Aora. Little wonder that Ukaizo has been lost for all this time.
Erosion has softened the bronze features, giving the proud statue a brooding air. Descending into the city would be suicide while the relentless storm rages on. A furious storm obscures the sprawling city below, but you can make out the shape of distant spires reaching up from the flooded ruins. Spirit winds tug on your soul with insistence, like a stern hand trying to pull a cloak from your back. You recall the last time you encountered a Biowik. It feels a lifetime ago. No time to waste. Let's be off. A tiny engraving reads, in memory of Dumu, Tapua, and Tokima, Ngati's first chosen. That was it? Okay. Moigwa. Moigwa. That's where we're going to. Moigwa. Onra's Spire. Though the device atop the tower spins in wild, blurring revolutions, the air around it is still and calm. You stand in the eye of the storm, which has cordoned off Onra's mortar from the rest of Eora for thousands of years. You see an antiquated control panel, its levers engaged in positions of activation. A deep percussion shakes the tower by its roots. Somewhere in the obscurity of the storm, Aethys rears back his fist to deliver a mighty blow. The control panel has weathered the millennia better than the rest of the city. A layer of dust covers its elegant glass tubes and engraved copper levers, which appear both intact and fully functional. Deactivate the machine. You grip the largest of the levers and bring it up to its starting position. The vibration of machinery gradually slows and turbulent winds grow calm. Level up!
The machine controlling the storm winds down. The clattering of its machinery settles into a low whir and then, at last, hiccups to a halt. Beyond the tower, the black, roiling clouds of Andra's mortar roll away from the ancient city of Ukaizo, with only a tired sigh of wind to see them off. And on that last breath of wind, comes to you a familiar sound. The ring of a bell. The bell's ringing is soft, not the clangor and torrent you've grown used to. It calls to your soul, and your soul yearns to follow it. Your soul flees from your body and into the beyond, chasing that sound. It leads you at last to Bareth's realm, to that cold platform and room of endless doors.
Watcher, your journey nears its conclusion.
The pallid night stands before you, her gaunt face impassive.
I'm gonna keep saying nothing whenever I talk to the gods.
Soon you will confront Aethys for what will likely be the final time, and you will do so as the Herald of Bareth, the only creature on the face of Eora to whom he will listen. Remember that.
The pallid night inclines her head to you, black hair hanging lank in her face. She steps back and cedes the floor to Helia with a small, resigned sigh.
If Aethys truly intends to go through with his mad plan to destroy the wheel, a generation's worth of souls will be trapped in the in-between. So many would suffer. How can Aethys be so cruel? He cannot just abandon them. Aethys must help the Kith find a quick solution.
Abaddon strides forward.
Aethys thrust this crisis on the Kith. They did not bring it upon themselves. Their only mistake was entrusting us to watch over them. Who will help them rebuild their world now?
Aethys will reveal every secret of the gods. Will Kith be able to change the established order if they have no wonder to inspire them? Aethys must help them resolve this quickly, lest every one of Eora's few remaining mysteries be laid plain.
With the wheel destroyed, Kith will tear themselves apart. It is the gods' duty to prevent that happening, lest they doom us all. And as Kith must be ruled, so too must the gods. I say that if Aethys is so eager to throw down the mantle of power and step aside, I shall take my rightful place as Queen of the Gods again.
Kith are strongest when they follow our lead, and we are strongest when we lead in turn. United in purpose with the gods, Kith can accomplish things that without us, they could never have even begun. They must be shown their boundaries to surpass them.
Kith will not solve Aethys' puzzle on their own. And without an established order to fight against, the bonds that bind them dissolve, and they fight amongst themselves.
Boudica's firm hand is but the motherly smothering of Helia by another name. Mortals should have no special advantages. Only once Kith have striven to improve themselves through trial will they truly know their measure. Kith must suffer to find their strength if they are to survive the world into which Eothas drags them.
At least there's one voice of reason.
Our intervention in your struggle would be a cruelty and counter to our purpose.
He lets his words hang in the air for a moment. Gaze, level with your own.
Indeed. Kith must discover for themselves what it is they are worth, and of what it is they are capable. What we do for them, they do not learn for themselves. Trial breeds ingenuity. If our work of generations was not in vain, Kith will succeed in spite of Eothas' actions. I have faith in Kith's ability to meet Eothas' challenge. Do not mistake my words for indifference, Watcher. They are born from a fierce belief in your potential, not a refutation of it.
Margaret is blinded by her affection for mortals. She does not see that entropy is the destiny of all things. If Eothas were wise, he would destroy everything. End life, end reincarnation, end death.
Who the fuck are you?
Kith have had their chance. It is time to let silence reign.
As Rimmergon's words fade, the Pallid Knight returns. She no longer towers over you, a giant even among the gods, but meets you at your height. She lets the arms crossed over her chest fall to her sides. She speaks to you openly, plainly, an expression almost like tenderness, turning up the corners of her lips.
Well, Watcher, you know where we stand. What do you believe?
Say nothing.
You have time yet to make your will known, but not much. You will stand before Eothas soon. Now the time has come for us to part, Watcher. I laid upon you a difficult duty. You will be free of it in time, but not now. You have work to do yet. You are no stranger to hard choices. You killed Theos, and when his soul was laid bare before you, you chose to destroy it. You granted him peace. Remember the strength it took to make that choice, and know that you alone may sway Eothas now. When you stand before him, choose your words carefully.
She claps her gauntleted hands together, and a sound like thunder rumbles through the room. As the floor crumbles and falls away beneath you, you hear the sound of a single bell ringing, and beneath it, the faintest whisper.
Oh! Bonk. Consciousness returns in a wave as the last of the machine's energy dissipates. The coloring of the storm reveals the sprawling city around you, like sand wiped from a mosaic. You see the distant outline of Eothas raising his fist in triumph and purpose.
You keep falling asleep on me, I'm gonna have to start walking behind you with a pillow. Oh, by the way, the storm's gone. Also, I think Eothas has ended the world.
Katir takes a long draw from his pipe and nods as he stares at the Colossus in the distance.
It seems we're all still here.
Alot glances around, rubbing his head gingerly.
It is good to see you awake. It seems the storm has passed.
She looks up from you across the city, her golden eyes scanning the newly visible horizon.
God's darnation. My head.
Doti presses a palm to her brow as she struggles to her feet. Peering over the edge of the tower, you make out a distant shape amid the ruins below. A ragged ship has settled offshore where it lists at a drunken angle, the flag of the Principe drooping from the tilted mast. The empty deck tells you that the surviving crew have long since boarded a skiff. and rowed to shore, which means you're no longer alone on Hokkaido. Sigh and draw your weapon. Oh, we did get levels. Priest. Summoning spell, spell resistance. Longer distance spells. Mind plague. I really wish they made more spells though, holy shit. There are like 3. There are literally 3. Make more spell rests. Athletics, survival. Crit, I don't really care. Mechanics, diplomacy. You can honestly pretty much empower every single fight. I don't like the empower system. It's it has the same feel as potions. Not in a good way. Where you don't want to use them. Because you're like, maybe I need this. And it's not that different from normal spell slots, but I also feel that it just comes across as different. Because you basically just get 1 empower per battle if you want to use it at all. +1 max empower, so you can have 4 empowers. I don't know what to take here. Potion.
Yes?
Off we go. Wait. The hell? How do we go down there? Well. Something happens here. Well, yeah, there was another stair there.
So now it comes to this, Aimiko.
Tugging on the frilled cuffs of his sleeves, Captain Ferrante strolls confidently forward. With a flick of his hand, he signals to the posse of well-armed pirates behind him.
You think to steal my golden dream, but I will not allow it to happen.
He embellishes an aristocratic bow as he draws arms against you.
My gratitude is yours for disabling the storms. It seems I did not require Rivan's ship to reach Hokkaido in the end.
Don't make me hurt you. Walk away while you still can.
You jest in the face of your death, huh? Allow me to admit how grandly I will enjoy ending you. Until the next life. Nor, perhaps not.
Okay, so this guy is the last boss. Is that it? Oh, right. Doesn't have a halberd anymore. Perfect. How hard can it be? Couple of jerks.
Yeah.
Oh no, he teleported to me. In that case... Teleport? Blast it. Oh. Oh, I wasn't using the right character. Why are you doing that? Why do you have that?
Testing my endurance.
How long are you paralyzed? Holy shit. Okay, normal heal. Really do a lot of damage. Being just normal randos. Come on. Oh, don't stop attacking just because I knocked him down. There we go.
What can I do?
Yep, we get a bunch of crap.
Absolutely.
That away. Basically, from what I understand, when you come
to the ancient winding streets of Ukaizo. Battered by storms for thousands of years, the ruins bear the marks of their role as the lone witnesses of the god's great secret at the center of the city. The houses and boulevards are pierced by great spears of luminous Audra. There are no ashen bodies, no birds, no sign or sound of any life. But with every step, the rhythmic pounding in the distance draws nearer. Soon, you can feel the vibration traveling up your spine.
And when you come here to Ukaizo, when you land, there's supposed to be a boss fight. And from what I understand, the boss fight is that big dragon. The when you're sailing in, there's like a metal Audra dragon that swims through the water. And that's supposed to be the last boss. But if you release the dragon when you were doing the quests for the what's her face? The queen. The dragon just one-shots the last boss for you. He just kills it in the cutscene and you don't get to fight the last boss. It's super weird. So you finally get to Ukaizo and there are just like 2 enemies and then it's the game over. The game's just over.
As you approach the center of the city, the weathered architecture gives way to more luminous Audra, piercing the ruins, eventually overtaking them entirely. Cresting the top of a fallen tower, you finally get a clear view of Aethys. He stands, legs astride, next to a great stone monument ringed with 11 cavernous alcoves. All but 3 hold a gargantuan skeleton, bones scrubbed clean by the city's storms.
All but 3.
An immense Anguithan machine floats above the monument, suspended by invisible energy emanating from a well of light beneath it. Great brass rings spin around a core of metal and Audra at the machine's center. Periodically, Aethys's massive arms swing back. The movement alone is enough to draw great gusts of wind toward him. When they come down on the machine, the impacts are accompanied by eruptions of electricity, fire, and smoke. The hundreds of luminous Audra pillars across Ukaizo sympathetically dim in a rippling wave that spreads out from the machine. The only safe route to the god is a steep ascent along a monstrous pillar of luminous Audra. Intertwined with fragments of Ukaizo's ruins that it has carried through the centuries, the pillar bends in a long arc, towering above the machine. The pillar levels out near Aethys's head, a silent observer to the destruction of the machine it has grown beside over thousands of years. You weave your way along a treacherous, rain-slicked path up the pillar's skyward side. As you arrive at the top, you catch Aethys's attention. Fist pulled back, he pauses to observe you. With the same gentleness he showed at Ashen Maw, he lowers his arm and turns toward you.
Strange to see Ukaizo in this way. It may be hard to picture, but this city was once full of life. The Huana, yes, but also kith from many other cultures. Great hanging trees shadowed these boulevards. Gardens sprawled across the open rooftops. Each spring, a festival procession would wind its way from the hillside into this valley. The celebrants would pass through a steep walk among the stalls of foreign merchants, flowers falling upon them from all sides. All people of all nations, together in a celebration of new life. Such was the power and beauty of lost Ukaizo.
If we don't fix this mess you're about to cause, the whole world is gonna look this bad. I mean, it's a mighty heavy load you're putting on our shoulders. I just hope we can carry it.
As long as there are people like you in this world, Adair, I truly do. This power has always been in the grasp of mortals. Now you will finally be aware of it. Now you will be able to decide what to do with it.
Gone, please, I'm begging you. What do I do following this? How am I to best serve those still living, to improve our future chances of survival?
The Deadfire and the Eastern Reach are full of animancers, women and men with brilliant minds who can solve this great problem. They will also need people with brilliant souls, like you, Shodi. People who can tend to the spiritual needs of the world in a time of fear and desperation.
I can't deal with the fact that her name is literally just Shotty. Hey there, Shotty!
Remember, the flame you bear is not only light, but warmth. Provide comfort to all who need it.
Aloth shakes his head, looking up at Aethys.
What right do you have to do this? Destroy the wheel and leave us with nothing? Without even knowing what will come next?
Aloth, we are all, gods and mortals, responsible for our own actions. But inaction carries its own moral responsibility. It is a burden I have carried for far too long. One must always do as their conscience dictates, even if that means abdicating a position of power.
I want you to know. I appreciate what you are doing.
But Pallegina, you do so only because in this, you foresee the death of my kin. We have wronged you. We have wronged all mortals for far too long. But after this moment, you may see a change in my brothers and sisters. Humility can be good for the soul, even a god's. But what of you, Watcher? Why have you followed me?
Have you come to bear witness to the breaking of the wheel?
I want you to destroy it all. Be more specific. What does that mean? The entire world? How does that make any sense? What does that mean? To destroy the whole Eora. Yeah. That makes no sense. Because that depends on what the fuck we mean with all. Because yeah, destroying the whole world makes no sense, but destroying the whole system makes sense. Because they are literally false gods. It doesn't mean that there are no gods. It means that they are false gods. Only to bear witness.
You are welcome to do so. Indulge me in a moment's curiosity. There is something I wish to know about Eora, about Kith, that I can only learn through your eyes.
Go on.
You followed me all this way, dodging an armada, navigating an impenetrable wall of storms, voyaging across uncharted seas, with the machinations of gods echoing in your ears, all the while trusting in the institutions of Kith to get you this far, and earning their trust in turn. Whatever else happens this day, that much is remarkable. I believe that mortals possess the strength to collaborate and shape a future of their own design. Not all of my brothers and sisters agree. By relying on others and coming together in a time of crisis, you illustrate my point. The gods will witness you and question their assumptions about how responsible, empathetic, and sophisticated mortals can be. What inspired your decision, Watcher? Did the choice echo your foundational beliefs? Or were you influenced by observation?
Kind of weird. I don't know. What inspired my... I don't know. You destroyed my castle. That was like the only reason we went this way. Like... He destroys our castle, steals my soul, and Bareth puts me back, like revives me and puts me back in the world. And forces me to go after Aethys. Like that's why we did this. I don't know about all of these other fucking choices. We need ingenuity if we're going to survive. It was a logical choice.
I thank you for your perspective. Yours is not the only opinion that concerns me. But for the moment, it offers much to consider. All I ever wanted for mortals was growth, transformation. Once, my brothers and sisters shared this goal. Some have forgotten themselves, giving into fatalism or tyranny. Others have succumbed to apathy. It brings me great sorrow that crisis is the only way to set the future in motion. Would that I could pass the responsibility of heralding your darkest hour to another. Never forget that trust and coordination between mortals brought you to this place. Your future is built on a foundation of hope, and you have laid the first stone.
Before this is over, it's my turn to ask the questions.
Ask. You are entitled to any answer that is mine to give.
What happens after the wheel breaks?
The great work of the Inguithans falls to ruin. Reincarnation as we know it will end. Souls which currently await new life in the beyond will be born into the world as normal, but their numbers will not replenish. Anything that dies will tarry in the void of the in-between, awaiting the motion of a wheel that no longer turns. Once the beyond has emptied, every birth will be hollow-born. Other maladies of the soul may follow, and plague those who linger in life. Unless mortals work together to carve a new path, the essence of life will be trapped in the netherworld. Gods will starve. Eora will grow silent and cold.
Why won't reincarnation just go back to how it was before the wheel, finally?
When we tamed the cycle of reincarnation, we broke what had once functioned naturally and without intervention. The flow of essence will not normalize on its own. Essence will simply pool in the void of the in-between, never passing through Adra networks to the beyond. The dead will be left to wander in darkness, confusion, and sorrow.
How long until Eora is devoid of all life?
A generation or more. That much essence is already poised to flow into Eora. But unlike an hourglass, no amount of turning will compel the sand to reverse its course. Should you choose, you could lay down your burden and trust in your children's children to set matters right. That depends entirely on you. By your reckoning, there are still good years to come. By ours, time is short.
You've had millennia to do this. Why now?
For several reasons. My strength was diminished after the Godhammer bomb, and assuming this form took incredible effort. With so many vying for control of the Deadfire, I also saw a ripe opportunity for mortals to cast aside their differences and stand together as one. They have never been more powerful, more capable. Because of this, the gods must justify their importance or be proven obsolete.
Boudica sees this as a test, one we're destined to fail.
Boudica is entitled to her opinion. If the intent of this test is to justify an uprising to come, that is more worrisome. The other gods must decide for themselves if mortals are ready to dictate their future. Should Boudica's tyranny prove the only alternative, mortals must prepare for a terrible conflict. Your perspective bridges eternity, Watcher. Many will look to you to mediate differences that could shake the very foundations of Eora.
That's all. What happens next?
I must attend to my final work now. I cannot delay any longer. You have carried a heavy burden across the Deadfire, Watcher. Before I go, I would rid you of it.
No sooner have Aethys' words entered your mind than you hear one final dissonant ring of the chime within you. Then silence. The knot that formed when the Pallid Knight first addressed you in the Beyond is now gone.
You are free now. As free as any of us can be. Many will come to you for help in the years ahead. Animancers, priests, even the gods themselves. I have great hope for you. But always remember that your future is for you to decide. Use your freedom well.
Aethys squares himself to the machine. As you move to a safe distance, he draws his fist back and resumes his assault. The blows rain down with increased fervor, but the machine perseveres in spite of his efforts. Spreading his arms wide, Aethys draws power from the luminous Adra clustered around the valley. The energy courses through his body, limbs overflowing with intense light and waves of heat. He returns to his task, each strike bringing with it the sound of cracking stone and twisting metal, the flickering of luminous Adra across Ukaizo. As the ancient machine finally begins to succumb to his strength, so too does Aethys's body, built to withstand the passage of thousands of years. The great Adra statue has finally been pushed beyond its limits. Cracks appear along the hands, then race up the arms. Aethys does not slow his assault, but continues unabated. Its brass rings twisted, the machine spins erratically but withstands the relentless barrage. Aethys stands astride it and pummels the base of the machine. Soul energy begins to flare out from the machine's heart, warping the air with the intense heat. Aethys drives his right fist into the machine's center, the core of metal and Adra. The god lets out a deafening shout, something between a cry of anguish and a roar of exultation. You see Aethys's arm shatter upward from his hand through his elbow. A flash of light and heat bursts from the core, accompanied by a cacophony of destruction. The moment passes as Aethys's shout echoes throughout the valley. Your eyes begin to recover. The god's work is accomplished. The great machine of Ukaizo has been destroyed. The wheel has been unmade. As Aethys's voice fades, the enormity of what you've accomplished sinks in. You have confronted a god. You have rediscovered the ancient city where the wheel was forged, and you have seen the wheel shattered. What comes next is uncertain, but already the legend spreads of the Watcher, who survived Andra's mortar and stood toe-to-toe with Aethys. Maras Nua's body finally goes still amidst the rubble of the Angwithan machines, yet it continues to glow. Priests and mystics have strange dreams of an island of eternal dawn at the eye of a storm, a port where the tide never flows out, a roadside tavern whose door leads only inward. As a watcher, you see what these dreamers cannot. The souls of the departed drifting toward the Adra Colossus and the twilit afterlife within. Whether it is a temporary haven or a permanent end will depend on what the Kith of Aora are able to accomplish on their own. The greatest hope seems to lie in animancy, which the burgeoning Valian Trading Company explores with newfound purpose and vigor. And while Maras Nua stands frozen over Ukaizo, the gods look on the labors of Kith, but they do not intervene. They watch and argue, wager and conjecture at how or whether mortals will solve the puzzle set before them. At Ukaizo, the Valian Trading Company discovers a cornucopia of Angwithan devices and artifacts, as well as vast reserves of luminous Adra. Under Director Castal's leadership, the company is poised to become not only the foremost authority on animancy, but also the dominant power in Deadfire. The Songreta Mea Compressa quickly approves the construction of an academy at Ukaizo, in addition to several permanent settlements, with the Kahanga monarch reduced to a figurehead. The Huana tribes fragment further. Some profit by working with the Valians, and others find themselves evicted from their old lands. But for many, life continues much as it had before. The Valians' business interests trump their enmity, and they allow most of the Royal Deadfire Company's ships and personnel to remain in the archipelago to trade. Rauatai's legendary cannons pose little threat to them now. After all, the Valians could not want for better leverage than Andra's Spire. The storms across the Rauataian mainland subside along with those of Andra's mortar. However, Rauatai regards this respite with a wary eye, ever mindful that the machinery at Andra's Spire remains under their foes' control. The influx of Valian business into Deadfire creates an unprecedented opportunity for the Principes and Patrena. Though their dreams of conquest have been squashed, there are more than enough prizes passing through to keep the captains in silk and their crews fed and content. And business is good enough that the Sangreta is willing to write off more than a few losses with each transit. Despite other tensions across the archipelago, Port Maje remains a model of peaceful, productive cooperation between the Juana and the Valian Trading Company. Though they do not always agree, Governor Clario and Storm Speaker Ikawa work together for the mutual benefit of their people. As the balance of power changes in Deadfire, so too does Nekataka transform. The Valian Trading Company builds up the port in Queensbirth. The company's expanding presence, however, quickly outgrows the dockside district. Company facilities and personnel spread throughout Nekataka. The pirates continue smuggling food into the gullet, and the Raparu embrace their benefactors, aiding and concealing their smuggling operations. Over time, the gullet becomes a hotbed of piracy. Though the loss of Skiarelaphus's essence weakens the Water Shapers Guild, Animancers with the Valian Trading Company offer a proposition. In exchange for knowledge of water shaping, they will develop a new source of essence for the guild. Some of the elders balk at sharing their secrets with foreigners, but the partnership that follows proves fruitful for the guild as well as the Animancers. Your brief encounter with Letharn proves deeply influential for the children of the Dawnstars. Plagued with nightmares and haunted by the deaths at Hesango, Letharn begins questioning his faith in Aethys. At first, his fellow Dawnstars chide him, but that changes as word of Aethys's deeds at Ukaizo spreads. After all, what business have they worshipping a god who denied his own legitimacy? The children of the Dawnstars respond to Aethys's sacrifice by taking up the lanterns and sickles of the Harvesters of Gone. They become pilgrims of essence, gathering souls across Aora and ferrying them to the haven within the Adra Colossus. Others will repair or rebuild the wheel one day. In the meantime, the Dawnstars will care for the souls of the dead. With the Adra of Pokakohara restored, Director Castol establishes a small port at Tikawara. He sends a team of Animancers to study the ruins and their machinery. It is a small operation, but one that brings a measure of stability and prosperity to Tikawara and its people. Given his success with Port Maje, Clario is asked to recommend a governor for the new Tikawara port. Ikawa advises the tribe on working with their new Valian neighbors. It is, by all accounts, a successful and promising venture. The Dead Flow, an iceberg in the southern sea, continues to grow unchecked. As the ice spreads, so too do wild tales of a hideous dragon rampaging across the Deadfire.
DLC trash. Never ever install DLC. Like, DLC is so shit. I fucking hate DLC.
Word spreads of the primal island of Kazuwari, once home to an arena that hosted bloody competitions and fearsome ordeals.
Also DLC.
A vast monstrosity of tentacles and flesh erupts from the Black
Also
Isles
DLC.
in the eastern Deadfire. Though your adventures alter the destiny of Aora and the balance of power in Deadfire, they also leave a lasting mark on those who travel at your side. Your companions find themselves changed in ways both big and small. Adair returns to Hesango, where he reunites with Byrne, the son of his former lover, Alava. The boy takes heart in Adair's account that Aethys and all the other gods were false, petty, and unworthy of the love of Kith. Realizing how close he came to dying for this cause, Byrne finds renewed purpose in working alongside his uncle to repair the many scars left upon Deadfire by the gods. Under Adair's guidance, Byrne grows into the kind of irreverent, stubborn hothead that would have made his mother proud. And Adair visits her gravesite, often to tell her so. Shodi is not a priestess who understands the meaning of subtlety. As such, she makes her girlish crush on Adair painfully obvious from the moment she first sets eyes on the strapping fighter. Early in your travels, Adair appears discomforted by her persistent flirting. He often grimaces when she sidles up to him, and he takes endless pains to keep their conversations terse and to the point. But after a little smoothing on your part to nudge them in the right direction, Adair makes an effort to view Shodi with an open mind. And Shodi begins teasing the veteran fighter in a more companionable and less amorous manner. After saving each other's hides a couple times and sharing more than a few laughs, the two form an easy, and you suspect, lifelong friendship.
She's got to be one of the worst characters I've ever seen written in any CRPG. She's such a garbage character. Her entire character is just that she has nightmares and she just worships Gone. Like, that's it. And she just goes around collecting souls. Which, by the way, didn't have any impact in the game at all. The souls didn't do anything. The way where we were picking up souls like left and right in the beginning. There was one place where we summoned a soul when we were confronting the snakes at Hosongo. That was it. There was not a mechanic at all otherwise. But that's her entire personality, and now at the end, her like final story arc, or story like this is what happened to her, is literally she became friends with a deer. That's it. Do something with your life. Holy shit.
Seemingly lit with an inner glow, Shodi takes to a
Maybe?
new life of mission work with gusto. She still is committed to shepherding souls for Gone, but having realigned her goals with that of her fellow Dawnstars, she now endeavors to help the living as much as the dead. As you travel the Deadfire, you find her sleeping better and laughing more often. When the time comes for her to return to her temple in Nekataka, it's with a clear wistfulness and much lip-biting on her part. She leaves you with her sickle and a hastily scrawled note. It reads, "A keepsake from a path once walked. Remember me, Watcher, for I will forever dream of you."
Still just dreaming, but yeah. At least you did something.
Aloth renews his commitment to destroying the Leaden Key. With the wheel broken, loosening the god's stranglehold on Kith is more urgent than ever. It is a lofty goal, and one he does not expect to finish in his lifetime. But if there's one thing he's learned from the Watcher, it's that a single person can change the world. Seraphin seems little impacted by your journey. "Always knew the gods were larger than me," he tells you, on the evening he decides to part from your company. He's too long put aside those he cares most for. He confesses over a bottle of rum, and he's got leagues to sail to make it right. The following morning, he's gone, leaving only a crude stick figure rendering of Aethys, scrawled into the hull to mark his passage. For assisting the Watcher in securing Ukaizo for the Valian Trading Company, Pallegina is honored in a ceremony at Biajepe, attended by all 5 of the Duke's bells. Duke Ramasi is so overjoyed by his good fortune that he offers Pallegina a boon. She immediately takes the Duke up on his offer by requesting that the ducal charter of the Fremas Mes Conxualias be amended to allow the admission of women. Soberly, the Duke accepts, much to his chagrin. The following spring, the Brotherhood admits its first 5 girl cadets.
It's over, Fremas, it's over.
Following her triumphant return to the Republics, Pallegina is assigned to be the personal guard of the Duchess Spirento. She excels in this role, and is favored by the Duchess above all other members of the Brotherhood. Their close relationship causes friction with the Duchess's husband, the Kanta Maraba. His impotent annoyance becomes the subject of courtly gossip and the inspiration for a well-received farce, staged at the biggest theater in Otsia.
What do you mean, fuck this day? I finally finished this game. I'm so happy. Except that I slept for like 4 hours, and I haven't eaten since Sunday. But yeah, how's it going?
Pallegina renews her relationship with Giacomo, corresponding with him regularly, and even meeting with the old Animancer once or twice a year. Though she does not understand the intricate details of his research, she reads his letters and responds with great enthusiasm. Her brothers, and even the dukes themselves, note that Pallegina's demeanor is always warmer on the days when she receives a letter. Rumors even spread that some of the brothers have seen her smile.
Whoa!
Pleased with the Navy's conduct throughout the Deadfire campaign, Maya returns to active duty. She can find a free drink and a sharp salute anywhere she goes in Rawatayan territory.
Who are you?
In recognition of her performance, the Navy attempts to give Maya less strenuous work. She flatly refuses, throwing herself into the fray whenever she can. Her rifle never has time to cool. She looks forward to seeing her brother again. So does Ashiza. Your pursuit of Aethys and your journey to Ukaizo signal the end of forces that have shaped the lives of Kith and the course of nations. The cycle of reincarnation has been broken. The storms of Andra's mortar have calmed. Yet each ending promises a new beginning. As the sun rises over Ukaizo, Kith turn their gaze eastward, wondering at what lies beyond, and at the world they will fashion for themselves. As the Watcher of Cadnua and the former Herald of Bareth, you return to your ship and begin the long journey home. You hope for calm weather.
Yeah, that was trying. Oh. I actually don't really mind the main story. It's just that it's really, really poorly written, executed, and implemented. There's like barely any of it. And all of the things that matter in the main story are not touched upon enough. Like the fact that, well, what happens after the wheel is destroyed? Like, shouldn't that have been part of the game? Like, the whole part of Aethys wanting to destroy the wheel or doing anything, like, none of that is really a part of the game. It's just, like, briefly mentioned. And then at the end, you can finally ask him and get an actual answer, and he's like, yeah, we broke it, sorry. Like, a normal birth doesn't work anymore. Like, okay, could have told me that ages ago. Could have made that a big part of the game, but no. Because it's like, because none of the other factions in the game is actually like involved with it. None of them have an opinion at all about what Aethys is doing or anything. Like, it's just like, oh no, Aethys is like walking across our cities. That kind of sucks. But that's about it. So, I don't know. That's why I don't like side stuff. Like, if you want to have side quests, that should be like 10% of the game's content. It shouldn't be the other way around. It shouldn't be 90% of the game's content, because that's what it is in this game. And it's also a question of magnitudes, because at some point, when you design a quest or a game's story to be progressed by doing side bullshit, you you reach a point where you get to what I like calling fallen tree syndrome, where you're trying to play through a story, but the only thing that you're finding is a fallen tree over the road. And to fix that, you have to go and find some fucking lumberjack, because you don't have an axe or a saw. So you have to go find the lumberjack, and the lumberjack is like, yeah, I can clear the tree, but my daughter's been kidnapped. And then you have to go and rescue his daughter. And then you finally succeed with that. And he clears the tree. And now you can just progress the game normally again. Like, it was literally just locking you. Because there's no actual writing for the story, so there's just nothing. They just have to do that. And not good. It's why Breath of Fire 3 and 4 are such torturous games to play. I don't remember exactly how bad 4 is when it comes to that, but 3 is literally nothing but that. It's literally just, uh-oh, no, you can't keep going. You have to solve this bullshit. Nope. The lighthouse isn't working. You have to fix the lighthouse to get on the boat, to go to the place that, you know. And it's just, a story needs to have a red thread. I don't know, like, I never hear people mention that, but it's a big concept for, in here in Sweden when it comes to, like, how you write things. Or at least in school. Like, they or at least in my school, they taught us about the red thread. Which is, you know, even if you have side things, the story, the red thread of the story is what you need to follow. You shouldn't really divert that much from that. Because otherwise you're just writing ambience, really. And that's why, again, magnitudes matter, but in general, I do think games should be either focusing on being a side quest game, and that means being more open world, make your own story kind of thing, and not be because Skyrim, the fact that Skyrim has a main story, in my opinion, makes it worse. If Skyrim was more about, like, more complex, like, area stuff, and, like, those things, like, doing something in one area kind of ripples across the world a little bit and changes, like, the other areas, and that way it kind of changes how the world kind of progresses, in a sense, instead of just being random bullshit that you can do instead of doing the main story. That could have been nice, but because they're doing, like, this mix of both, it's just bad at being an open world game and being a story game. So, and this game kind of does the same. Like, this game is kind of Skyrim designed, to be honest. Because it's just like, once you get off the first port, you're just meant to be able to go anywhere, pretty much. Now, here it's more level gated, but all of this would have been more acceptable. Well, no. Well, honestly, the game was really bad. But we have already concluded that. But it's over. Until they release Avowed. And then we'll see what they do with that. Now this is a super early stream, because we finished this game so early. So, what I'm gonna do is we're just gonna stop the stream, and I'm gonna start streaming Road Warden for tonight, and we'll see what that's like. And then tomorrow we'll play East 8, I think. We'll see if I wasted my money on this Road Warden game. But I'll be back in a couple of minutes, I guess. So I'll see you then. Bye-bye.